Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Proper Football Podcast.
Welcome back to the Proper Football Podcast.
We're back in business, and tonight we're going to talk about Paul Pogba's doping ban.
Wow.
So,
What a dope topic.
what a dope topic. That's a good one. That's a good one. So, the news is he was supposed to be banned for 4 years, and it got reduced to 18 months. He's a lucky guy.
Very lucky guy. I mean, everybody should have their fair trial and due process. So, yeah, like you said, 4-year doping ban reduced to 18 months. I guess we can say Pogba is POGBACK.
Wow. This guy got crazy lines today.
So
Now, you rehearsed that.
I haven't written down. No, I got that from when he went back to Man U. They had this whole campaign, POGBACK. I was like, wow, that's cool. But that was like years ago, man. But yeah, so that means he should be eligible to start training with a club in January 2025 and then officially start playing in March 2025. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, what club is he going to be playing for? You know, I mean, it's already been brought up that Juve and him are going to part ways. So technically, actually not yet. He's still with Juve until they negotiate the terms of how the contract's going to be when he leaves. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think he's been training in the meantime, but I don't know what club would want to take. How old is he? 30? No, he's 31, right?
Yeah, he's 31 at the moment. Like you said, they're going to have to terminate his contract because if he starts playing with the team again, he's going to be the highest paid player in Juventus right now, which I know they're having some financial troubles and all this other stuff.
And they bought a whole new midfield.
Yeah.
They bought 3 guys in. So
he's gone.
Yeah, I think his wages is it sums up to like 10 million a year. And actually, so when he was banned, he had to go to the league minimum of 2,000
a week
per month.
A month?
A month.
So you're telling me there was a point in time I was making more money than Pogba?
Yeah.
Wow.
We both were.
Achievement.
I did something with my life.
Wow.
But I mean, that 2,000, he had money in the bank anyway, sponsors, all that. He was fine. Yeah. He would have been all right. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what team that would take him. You know, he hasn't played in 18 months. If I'm a team in the Serie A, I might try to get him. I might look at him.
Well, a lot of factors are going to come into this. As we know, obviously, the pay. How much is he going to be wanting to pay? He's 31. He's not washed up as I can remember. Because we got to remember that 2018 run in the France World Cup is not that long ago. He's really a phenomenal player. At his peak, if we can get even 70% of what he was, that's a phenomenal player that can play at the top level.
Yeah, but 70%, you don't want to be playing in the probably top 5 leagues in the world.
70% of his peak is what I'm saying.
Okay.
If you tell me Anthony can play for Man United.
Okay, yeah, it's
Come on. Yeah, it's kind of.
And Rashford could play for United.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, I guess you got a good point.
What I'm trying to say is Pogba still has some left in the tank, is what I'm saying, as far as technical ability and maybe desire to play. But I think money's gonna have to come into it. I would love to see him in a top 5 league. I just don't see a top 5 team in those leagues. Like the Juventus, the top 4, top 5 teams in those top 5 leagues, willing to take him on with the risk because we can't remember, he's pretty injury prone. In the past 2 years with Juventus, he only played 11 games. Back with Man United in the Premier League, he missed over 100 games while playing for the club. So you got to take in mind, he hasn't played in 18 months like you said, and he has an injury record. Is a team going to want to take such a risk? Or maybe someone like the MLS where it's going to bring in revenue regardless, similar to the Messi situation.
Antoine Griezmann is going to, I think, LA soon, right? Or is he staying at
I heard...
No, that's Giroud. Giroud's there.
Yeah, Giroud's there.
I think he was linked or something like that.
Yeah.
But if he went to MLS, it wouldn't be bad. If he went to Saudi, he'd make his money.
Yeah.
But if he wants to stay in Europe, I'm pretty sure he can. But now he's gonna have some real conversations with himself, and he might not get paid that big money anymore because 18
right.
months of no football is a long time.
Yeah.
So if he can do it, I would say stay in Europe.
Of course, if you can.
If you want to play for the national team again,
Can he do that?
I think he definitely can. If
Griezmann's
Conte came back, I think he can make a comeback too.
That's a good point. That's a really good point because Conte did come back from going from the Saudi Pro League, so why not Pogba? I mean, Pogba's had a difficult couple of years. I remember that whole witchcraft thing with his family. I don't know if that has anything to do with what's going on right now.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Were you trying to say they're gonna repair his legs and all his injuries?
He's had some tough years with this doping scandal and all this. Some people are gonna obviously this is gonna have a slight stain on his legacy, I guess you can say, because some people are gonna look at it as, hey, he cheated or it was a mistake, he didn't know. Whatever the case is, he hasn't played. We miss him on the pitch as far as his technical ability and magic goes. Let's see if he can bounce back because this is not just a physical thing; it's gonna be a mental thing for him.
For sure, and I agree. All right, so we're gonna talk about the Liverpool scenario. Let me start all over again. We're gonna talk about the Liverpool contract situation right now. We have 3 major players that their contracts are gonna expire in 2025, and those 3 players are Trent Alexander-Arnold. We have Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk.
That's right. I mean, you have 3. You could say arguably 3 most important players on the team that are playing game in, game out, and they're set to have a contract expired in 8 months or so, end of the season we can say.
End of the season, yep.
And that's a tough situation if you're on the verge of losing 3 players. Or we'll discuss whether they're going to lose them or not, but maybe we can go into what they've done for the club and where they stand as far as importance.
Yeah, no. One big memory I have of Trent is when he crossed the ball to Divock Origi, that last play for us to score that goal. That was
against Barcelona.
Against Barca.
And you guys were already down 3-0.
Yeah, that was the comeback game. That was a big moment. He was part of that team. Trent started young with us under Klopp. Mo Salah. Yeah, I mean, Mo Salah coming into Liverpool, buying him for probably 40 mil.
Not only that, we thought he was a flop for the Premier League when he came to Chelsea.
Yeah.
Most of the world was like, this guy, Mo Salah, Egyptian, good guy, but not really Premier League caliber. He turned that down and really turned up.
The thing with him, though, he wanted to leave Chelsea. Mourinho wanted him to stay. So Mourinho's probably seen something. Yeah, same with De Bruyne. He probably seen something in him, but being the player that he is, he has the same personality. Mo Salah's the type of guy that wants to play on the field week in, week out, even at 32 years old.
Yep.
And at 32 years old, I have no problem with it because why? He's playing and he's performing. Virgil, coming from Southampton, was one of our biggest Christmas signings in the longest time.
Yo, he was supposed to sign that summer.
Yeah.
But Klopp, I guess, broke some rules, can't talk before a certain time, so they had to delay it 6 months or whatever. Yeah. So he was supposed to be a summer signing, but because of some type of sanction or whatever, he came in that January window, which I remember.
But those were important pieces, and they're still important pieces, and we'll go over that. So, so I'm hearing that all 3 players are discussing their contracts with Liverpool right now, and they're gonna talk about the length, what else, the amount of money,
role in the squad.
What else? Maybe even the project, that they're gonna, have. But then again, it's all right, let's go through them. Trent Alexander-Arnold, he's 25 years old. He'll be 26 in October. he would still be a young player, and his evaluation's at 100 million. How do you let a guy go like that?
$100 million player.
$100 million
like,
player.
This is
That's like an Mbappe thing, you know?
yeah,
like Mbappe going around Madrid for free, and how much is Mbappe really worth? Like
exactly
100 and change.
because I've never heard of a defender anywhere near 100 million. They're usually much lower, but because of Trent's versatility, we've seldom seen a right back like him or outside back in general. You can probably count on your fingers how many of his type are, but the way he can invert in the midfield and like
Oh yeah,
pass and cross and shoot and all these things, he's a different caliber of player.
and this season too, like with Klopp just started inverting him. You know, actually in beginning, Klopp had him like running, making them overlapping
Right.
runs, but then he started inverting him, and now with Schlott is more like he's in the central space, he's in the half space, he's overlapping, he's
like a blend of
everywhere,
everything, yeah.
everywhere, and he looks good too.
Right.
So
Yeah, I think we're gonna talk about all these players, but as far as Trent goes, he might be one of the most important and one of the most desperate they're willing to keep, especially because they didn't really make any reinforcements this summer window in case any of them were to leave.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So like they tried to get a center midfielder, Zubimendi, he rejected. They did get Mamadashvili, which looks like they're kind of planning ahead already because Alisson is still good on his contract, but he's getting older.
and Alisson's there until like 2027.
So and he's
So
what,
he got a lot
31?
of he's around there.
He's getting some injuries.
But goalie's 31's young still.
31's young, but all it takes is one injury
For
and
sure.
you're on your way down. But I think Liverpool has kind of like, oh shoot, we let Salah, Van Dijk, and Trent all pretty much expire at the same time without doing anything about it. Let's at least get Mohamed Salah. But pretty much what I'm saying is they didn't have the best summer window, so they're in my opinion, probably desperation more than ever to keep these three players because if they leave, these are not players that you just replace in the next summer window.
Oh no, these are players you gotta replace over the next maybe 10 years.
Exactly.
Because they've been here for almost 10 years if you think about it. If not,
Trent at least 10 years. And in the academy,
I don't know when Salah came. Salah came maybe 2017, 2016, around there. But that's a long time, dude. A long time.
Yeah.
And his stats too, throughout those years, always been like around the same. He hasn't dropped in form. So
yeah, I mean, age is not really catching up to him yet, but you never know. 1 year could be everything, but I really don't see that from Salah. I feel like he's going to continue going until 34, 35, then we might see a real slowdown, but a player of his caliber, we're considering him one of the top players in the world still.
Yep.
So that's not someone you can really leave, but let's finish off on Trent.
Yeah, we over here talking about Salah, and we got to talk about Trent.
Trent, he's obviously wanted by a lot of clubs, but one of the most important clubs is Real Madrid, arguably the most successful club in sports history. If we're really being
honest.
if you
put it out there, yeah, true.
And when that call comes, it's not one that you really want to reject because it doesn't come too often. It came probably twice for Mbappe, but Mbappe is like once in a generation type of player. Same just Trent, but there's some things going on at Real Madrid we can talk about later that is pretty much poised for him to go. So if someone like Real Madrid is coming, as Trent, you're like, man, I love Liverpool, but this is Real Madrid.
No, I agree. But with Daniel Carvajal getting injured recently, Real Madrid might want to expedite that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's like, all right, yeah, we might could get him on a free, but we can also purchase him in January on a discounted price if he doesn't agree. Honestly, if they were to, say, throw 50 million, I'd take 50 million. If he's not willing to extend his contract, you got to take it. Yeah.
Do you though? Because you're still in contention with Champions League. You're still in contention with the Premier League and all these other cups. Do you really want to put one of your best players on your competitor in the Champions League?
I get it.
You're not going to have enough reinforcement.
I get it.
Great player.
Understood. But then, all right, do you get money for him in January or do you let him go on a free in the summer? I would personally just let him go.
I think that thought was something when he had 2 years on his contract.
Yeah.
Something to discuss. But right now, You want to win something. Because if you win something,
sure.
you make more than 50.
I guess so.
And you guys are looking really good. You guys are first in the Premier League.
As of now.
You guys are looking good in the Champions League. You got to keep what you have and build on it, because if you toss it all the way, what does that say is you
No,
as a
I
club,
understand.
you know what
I
I'm saying?
get that. I get your point. I personally wouldn't want him to go regardless.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But if I had the option, I might have to take that risk because, you get some type of money in and maybe even still fighting for, the Champions Leagues and the EPL. But it's a tough topic. I don't even want to talk about this
As a
because
Liverpool fan.
because I want him to stay. I would want him to stay. But Mo Salah,
His counterpart on the right-hand side.
yeah. So he has how many goal involvements so far? Like 11. He has one more than Bukayo Saka
In 7 games.
in all comps.
Oh, no, all comps. Okay,
All
okay.
comps. And that says a lot, man. 32 years old. Eden Hazard wasn't doing that.
He is retired.
All right.
He retired at
Even
32.
better. Wayne Rooney at 32 was not doing that.
No.
And Thierry Henry. Some of the EPL greats I'm naming right now at 32 years old weren't doing what Mo Salah is doing right now. So for Mo Salah to be doing this, I'm rewarding the guy. I would reward him based on the length of a contract. I wouldn't go more than the 350 he's earning right now. I would say at 32, I'd probably give him max 3 years.
If I'm Salah, though, I'm saying, listen, I brought this to the table for the past 6 years at this club, 7 years, however long he's been there. I've been consistent. I've done what you asked me to do. I played the team ball. I performed. I've put in goals, assists, ran back, did everything. I think the time now is to pay me maybe what I was worth back then, and I didn't take that money. I have 2-3 years on my contract. I would like 2-3 more years at this club at least. I want to end it off on a high note on my career. This is my favorite club of all time. I love the fans. The fans love me. I want to continue to perform for the club. But I need to be compensated for my value, because I know there's others out there that see me for what I'm actually worth. Salah, hire me, brother. I can be your agent.
See, yeah, I get all that, but we also got to be realistic too, and we got to put his age in perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Maybe you add incentives in, like add bonuses. Maybe if he gets goals, if he stays fit, if he could play a certain amount of minutes a year or whatever, give him more money. But to give him more money weekly, I don't think we should do that. And at 350 pounds, like, come on, dude, that's a lot of money.
That's huge money, but if Saudi's willing to pay $1 million,
Yeah, he could go to Saudi for sure, but you could go to Saudi or you could still be playing at the best league in the world.
That's true.
And you could still be playing at within the best competitions. Where we're at right now, it looks like we're going to be at a top 4 position. We look really good.
No,
We look really good. And I know most people would say we haven't been tested yet, but that's fine. We'll see how we do when we get to those tests. You know what I'm saying? So I'm keeping Mo Salah. I'll probably give him a 3-year contract.
I mean, I would keep him too. Is he willing to stay for?
Yeah, for sure.
less?
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
I get you.
I think the next player we're going to talk about is similar to Salah. Virgil van Dijk, 33 years old, will be 34 by the summertime when his contract expires. He's been a staple in that defense. Pretty much the moment he signed, that defense has been solid.
Yeah.
Regardless of who his partnership was, it went down from Matip to all the way down to Jordan Henderson at sometimes.
Yep.
That center back partnership, or wherever he was at, he was the leader. He's been the captain. He's been leading the ship from the back to the front. And
He was almost like a captain when Jordan Henderson was there.
exactly. You can see
You
him on the
know?
pitch. There's certain players on the field you just seem like, hey, this guy, he got it, the it factor. And me, I'm not a Liverpool fan or anything, but I'm a fan of the game. And when you see a player of that caliber that can pass as a defender, score goals,
Track
back, not get dribbled. Didn't he have some streak of never getting dribbled for like 70-something games? Something crazy like that. To see him go would be, I mean, all of them would be sad, but this one would be, for me, catastrophic as far as the foundation of that club on the pitch.
All good things come to an end. But if we're looking at how good they're playing right now in the beginning of the season and within their age right now, you got to keep them, dude. You got to keep them. Even if it's for maybe one more year for Van Dijk or maybe a couple years, you keep him and say he doesn't perform to the level that he's performing right now. You know, he's teaching Konate a bit more. He's closer to Kwanzaa a little bit more. Kwanzaa's very young.
Did you see what Kwanzaa said? Kwanzaa and Konate just got their contract intersections.
Yeah.
And that's great for them because now they're learning from Van Dijk. Jarrell Kwanzaa, when they had this little press conference thing after they signed the contract, he said, this club right here is the best club for me to be at because of the people I'm around, the people I'm learning from. And that's pretty much saying because Van
Dijk's
is
there.
the best
for sure.
center back and the best one to learn from what will
I agree. But then you have Van Dijk. He leads in aerial duels, clearances, interceptions per game. And
Konate is number 2 in aerial duels. So that's not by accident. That's got to be because Van Dijk is right next to you and you're learning from one of the greats.
And I'm not going to lie, on the slot, we look very good defensively. So that's another reason for, him to be like, hey, Van Dijk, maybe you should stay a year or two.
That's right.
And it looks like they have a good relationship too. Dutch on Dutch, man. You know what I'm saying? Look, Gravenberch, you know what I'm saying?
Didn't I tell you? Remember in the summer when he got hired, I was like, bro, Gakpo's going to have some pivotal moments in here. Gravenberch, all these Dutch guys are going to be able
but
to
they're doing their thing, though.
They're doing things. We got to give credit to where credit is due. But as far as Van Dijk and Konate, not even Konate, but like Van Dijk, this is not someone that you can just go on the market and replace. For sure. If there's anybody like that, if there is one, it's Saliba, and he's never leaving Arsenal to Liverpool.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Or it could be internally, like with Kwanzaa.
Because Kwanzaa to Van Dijk, I can't even begin to put those two in
that's
the
gonna
same
be
sentence.
It's gonna be a long-term play, But like we said, being around him, he should, I wouldn't say perform to his level, but learn a lot,
Yeah.
So
it would have been nice if they had made some good summer signings to prepare for that, but
yeah, I agree. And we got rid of Montip, so we were down one center back. So if I'm going to run through them real quick, if I'm giving a contract to Trent, I'll give a contract to, until he's 30. So 4-year contract. Mo Salah at the moment, 2 to 3. And for Van Dijk, I'm probably giving him a 2-year contract. But with Van Dijk right now,
he'll be 36 by the time that
that's
expires.
fine, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. And there's people around him that are saying that he wants to stay. So close family are talking and they're saying
I've heard that they all want to stay.
Yeah,
but the contract has to make sense.
Yeah, of course.
So I mean, what's the likelihood of them all staying, in your opinion? All 3 of them staying.
That's tough.
Extend their contract. What is the likelihood, percentage-wise, of them all staying?
Damn, all?
All 3. You'll see him in a Liverpool shirt next year.
I'm going to give it, I'm very confident.
Wow.
I'm going to give it 90%. I'm going to give it 90%.
90? Seriously?
I think so, because if you look at all these players, especially Mo and Van Dijk, they're at that age. It's I only have a couple more years to be my best. And throughout their career, their best was Liverpool. So why not stay with the team, that you've won the Champions Leagues, right? and we haven't touched the Champions League in a long time. You won a Premier League, and we haven't touched it in a long time, and we did that because of you.
Well, we could say
And you're part of that history.
We could say the
and these
same
are
thing.
legends, though. These are legends. I'm talking about Van Dijk might go down as one of the EPL greats. I know a lot of people would hate that. You know what I'm saying?
He's EPL great. Who would hate that?
I'm saying because based on, like, you know, when you compare him to, like, the Fernandes, John Terry's, they have a lot more Premier Leagues,
he's
you
not
know?
on that level, I would say,
But
he's in the conversation.
Fernandes thinks Van Dijk is up there. I think
so. I don't
Yo,
think
you seen,
that
bro? Did you see a
level, but he's in the
video of
conversation.
he was asked a few questions on a lie detector test, and it was like, "Do you believe Van Dijk is better than you?"
I did see this. I forgot what.
And then
happened,
he
though.
said no, and then it came back and it said that he lied. So, yo, I think these people really think highly of Van Dijk, even though he hasn't, you know, won all these Premier Leagues. I mean, granted, you got, you know, Man City over here, and you got Pep Guardiola that control the league for a long time.
His reign could be coming to an end next year, which we might have to talk about in a different segment. But
For sure.
um,
But if I'm them, I'm staying because there's so much more to the future too. The whole team looks great right now. Sabas looks good. You got McAllister that looks good. You have who else looks good? The whole front three. Diaz, like, he's performing at a level we've never seen before. And I don't know, just the whole team. Curtis Jones looks good. They have players that can come in and come out any week, you know, and I'm staying with it because I love Schlott ball right now. I think they trust Schlott.
yeah, they look good, man. And this is what I was gonna say about defensively, especially with Van Dijk. Even last year with Klopp, you would see because of their high pressing style, they'll concede a goal,
Yes,
but they'll make up those goals.
for sure.
With this structure that Slot has, and I think this is a lot better for a defender like Trent that struggles defensively sometimes, and Van Dijk that
An
is,
aging Van Dijk.
aging, where it's a lot more solid, not
And then
back and forth.
it's the same
craziness.
thing with Salah. Klopp would have Salah running down the line all the time. Not that it's a problem,
Right.
but now that Schlott is here, they're playing patient football. So you're not going to run Salah through the ground. And we also have a lot of players that we can rotate him. Dude, we got 3 players on the bench that could play in any EPL team right now, honestly.
Who are they?
I'm talking about Gakpo,
True.
Nunez, and Chiesa. You don't think Nunez could play in any team?
Nunez. He doesn't play for Chelsea.
He doesn't?
No.
You're crazy.
Bro,
You're absolutely
I'm
crazy.
playing Nkunku at number 9 before I play Darwin Nunez. That's
bro.
for sure.
And Google's not even playing number 9 right now.
Because Jackson starts, so I'm playing Jackson
So
over.
you're
Nunez.
playing Jackson over
Nunez
Nunez?
at Chelsea.
Wow,
Yes.
that's a bit crazy, but okay.
Obviously, Man City's not gonna play.
Yeah.
They like
Arsenal,
Havertz.
he could play. He could play.
Maybe he'll come off the bench. Yeah, maybe come off the bench. What I'm saying is,
You get what I'm trying to
I
say,
know what
though.
you're saying.
They can play for any team. It doesn't. They don't have to necessarily start. I'm just saying, like, game time.
okay, yeah.
So, you know, with that rotation, you can finally say, hey, Mo Salah, you know, come off. We're gonna play you next game,
he ain't
having play that. You next game.
He ain't having that.
and then we're gonna put
Nah,
Chiesa
he's
in.
not having
But low
that.
key, he's been playing a lot of minutes, but he's fit. He looks good, and he looks happy. So I'm okay with it. But
Well, good luck to you guys. 90% is a bit mad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 40% that they all stay, 75% that 2 of them stay, and 100% that at least one. 99% that one stays at least.
okay.
I just see one leaving.
Yeah, it could happen. It could happen.
I just don't know which one. I think Trent has the most reason to leave
Yeah,
because Real Madrid's knocking on your door.
he's youthful, young
He
guy.
still has his prime to hit. He's just getting in there. VVD, just finish your career over there at Liverpool, another 2 years. Same thing with Salah. And ride the storm.
Salah could have left a long time ago too. He had interest from Real Madrid and all these other teams, PSG, and he chose to stay. So, if Trent could do the same, we'll appreciate you. So
Let's find out.
we'll find out. Okay, we're gonna talk about some injuries tonight and some pretty much big players. We're gonna start off with Rodri, and he had a ACL injury.
Out for the season, man.
Yep, and that's very unfortunate. But when it's actually funny though, well, it's not actually funny. So, a reporter asked him like, "Do you think players would start saying no and go on strike because of these games?" And then he said, "I think we're close to that." And then that Arsenal game, he gets injured.
No, he has no choice.
Now he has no choice.
So, which is
But
unfortunate
not
because
to play. It's crazy.
yeah, he's forced not to play. But
Yeah.
we should take this as an example because lots of players have been saying, "Hey, it's too much strain on my body. Or we're playing too many games. It's too many minutes. We need more rest. We need more time. Whatever it is."
Yep.
When it's more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people saying the same exact thing, maybe we need to start listening. But what the organizations and the federations have done is probably turn a blind eye to what they're saying and do the opposite of what was requested. Which we don't have to agree all the time, but we should definitely hear people out and try to help people out because now look, Rodri, the best, maybe most important player for Man City.
He's probably the best, he's the best defensive mid in the world right now.
Clearly.
He's fighting for the Ballon d'Or right now. He might even win it. He's up there when we talk about candidates because he just won the Euros. So
Yo, Corey, I can't lie, man. The drop-off from the Messi, Ronaldo, Ballon d'Or conversations to now is crazy.
it is crazy.
Little side note, but yeah, Rodri.
Yeah, look, Rodri, he's 28. He's worth about like $130 million. And he can't play in these competitions now. He had what? This was his last year on his contract.
No.
So, yeah, last year on his contract. This was his last year. Real Madrid wanted to bring him in too.
Oh.
So imagine that. We just talked about Trent. Imagine bringing him and Trent the same season if they could, if they could. But now you look at a guy like Rodri that just tore his ACL. Do you want to put all this money into a player like that? You're going to get him on a free, but you're going to have to pay the guy week in, week out, and he might not be the same guy. ACL is no joke, but I think he'll be all right. Hopefully he'll be okay. But I just found it like crazy how he just started speaking about how it's too many games and we're getting to the point that players might have to go on strike, and then he gets injured.
Yeah.
Right there. I was sick to see.
It's so unfortunate because it's like there's more of these ACL specifically injuries happening over and over and over and over again. I mean, we can even go as far back as last year. We can name probably 4 or 5 off the top of my head. Talk about David Alaba, ACL done for the season. Eder Militao, done for the season. This was all last year. Well, Courtois, another one.
Gavi, and he's a baby.
That
boy's a baby.
He's a young one.
Yeah.
Timber on Arsenal, right when he signed, like a couple games after, done. It's just, it's crazy.
It's more common now.
It's more common, and like we got to start asking why. Why is it more common if games were quote unquote harder and more physical back then? We didn't hear about these injuries even 10 years ago in this type of frequency. Why is it happening all of a sudden now where things are more technical? People aren't colliding into each other and having crazy collisions.
See, I gotta say though, Danny Carvajal's, it was a collision.
That's another one.
Like,
unfortunate.
You seen it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He went to go kick the ball and it was like under the player.
Mm-hmm.
That's awkward. But still, I mean, he is 32 years old. He's old.
See, that's a tough one, man.
That one's worse than Rodri's. Because 28, 32.
Not only that, bro. Carvajal, he tore 3 different things in his knee. He tore his ACL, the interior, the front, his LCL, which is the lateral, the side, and then something called something really with a P, some type of tendon on the other side, which is I don't know if he'll ever come back the same.
Yeah, so I wrote it down. His return date is June 30th, 2025. But Rodri's right now, he has no return date. Unknown right now. But
How do they know these
Carvajal's sounds a bit crazier.
I was like,
Yeah.
yo, what happened? Oh, yeah, 3 different, tendon, this, ACL, LCL. At that age, it's one thing to get when you're young. It's never to get. You're never good. But to get a season, and this is a 9 to 12 month injury right there.
Mm-hmm.
To get it like that is. Let me see. I wrote it down. Popliteus tendon.
Pop. Okay.
Pop.
Yeah, that's crazy. But yo, low key, Rodri, he only played in 3 competitions
Yeah.
this year. But I'm saying for Man City, he only played 2 in the EPL and 1 in Champions League. But he just came from Euros.
That's what it is.
And he played all the way up until the final. And for a player
Player of the match. Player of the tournament.
a player of his stature, he's gonna keep getting to the finals, top 4s of the EPL, and how Spain's looking right now. They might do something in the World Cup in a couple years.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I have a rough schedule because teams like that, like Man City, Real Madrid, these top teams, Liverpool, we're going to expect them to play 70, 75, almost 80 games a season, which is outrageous because some of these top footballers are like, 50, maximum 60 a year is all we can take. And to me, 75, 80. Like, imagine this. We can go back to this year that just passed. Euros that you were just talking about, / Copa America, depending on where you're from. Then you got the preseason that you got to get ready for the season and go back with your teammates. Then you got these little cups, Community Shield, Super Cup, whatever. Then you got the whole league a month later, not even enough rest. Then you got the World Cup coming up after this season.
yeah.
Then you got preseason again. You got these little cups, the European, this, Super Cup, blah, 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 blah. You got the full season without full rest. I mean, imagine this. All over. You have 1 month rest after training every single day. Then you have all these other things. Let me see what else we got over here. After the World Cup, you got the whole season. Then you got the league. Then you have AFCON, if you're African. And AFCON's not going to be in December or January like it usually is in the winter. They're going to put it in the summer to ease the load on people and so that these teams can make more profit.
Yeah, and that's why I understand a guy like Phil Foden right now has been playing many games, and it's probably because of this, with all these games. So, even the Champions League, they revamped it, right?
Yep, that's
And
another thing.
so now total games are going to be at 189 games to the 125 games from last year and all the years before. Do you not see that?
Wait, 100 and it was 109 before?
No, it was 125 games.
Uh-huh.
And now there's going to be 189 games played in Champions League.
That's crazy.
And then if you look at League One, how do you say it in French League? League One.
Ligue 1.
Ligue 1. Yeah, I can.
Ligue 1.
I would say League One. So they pretty much prepared for all this, right? And the 2023 season and 2024 season, they decreased from 20 teams to 18 teams. So now when teams get promoted, 2 teams get promoted, and pretty much 2 teams get relegated.
And less games. What's that, 2 less games?
2
4
less
games because
yeah,
home
4,
and away.
true that. Yeah, 4 less games. So they were preparing for this.
Wow, I didn't know. That's good.
Yeah. So can we see other leagues probably doing this? I don't know.
I doubt the Premier League ever does
EPL,
that.
you can't do that.
Nah, no
you
way.
can't. Because right now, you got Ipswich. They're doing pretty good, and they just came up. I personally, I wouldn't want to see that myself.
I don't think they'll ever do that. I mean, Premier League is known for making money,
Yeah.
profits. And
Premier League, they're fine. They're fine.
FFP and all that. Even
They're
if they already
fine.
have enough, they're never gonna. You think America's bad with capitalism? Take a look at the Premier League.
Crazy. That is true.
I'm
That is
serious.
true.
We live in America. We know what it's like. But Premier League is a different level. But if you look at the if we look at these teams, yeah, we got players like Rodri, Carvajal who have a little bit more experience, but I would say over the past several years, there's more young players coming up, and that could be because they have a lot more opportunities, a lot more training as they get young, as they're younger, as they're coming up into the ranks, and we're gonna see players like Trent really young playing all these games, Bukayo Saka, Phil Foden, Palmer, all these guys, Jude Bellingham,
Bro,
another
Jude,
one.
we went over this yesterday. Jude has what, like 36 caps at 21?
21 years old.
At 21, David Beckham had none.
I didn't
And
know
David Beckham, like, he ranks third when it comes to England caps. So that tells me Jude Bellingham is going to have the most caps in history for England. So,
Yeah, because they have all these different nation leagues and international friendly, this, that, and the other. Speaking of Jude Bellingham, I was looking at like some history, and in the past 10 years, there's been a 55% increase in minutes played on the top 5 leagues for players 23 and under. From ages 19 to 21, Jude Bellingham has played 105 games. Godse,
mind you, he was injured too, right?
yes, he was injured, but he played 105 games.
Yeah.
Godse played almost the same amount of games when he was his age, but he played 2,000 less minutes. So, like, obviously a young player can come in and play the same amount of games, but play 30 minutes instead of 90.
Yeah.
You know, Jude Bellingham is playing way more than any of these other
He's
guys.
a 90-minute player right now.
And if we compare Godse to Bellingham as far as stardom, potential, we thought Godse was going to be one of the best players, like Ballon d'Or type. But look at what happened to him. You know, this happened, injury, never got to his potential. Whatever the case may be, is expecting these younger players to exert their bodies to physical exhaustion at this point gonna affect their production when they're
And their
24,
bodies
25,
long
26.
term.
You know, like, are they gonna become the next Reece James? It's another guy. You know what I'm saying? Will we ever see his full potential? Probably not.
Yeah. And more competitions like Club World Cup.
Another one.
They're expanding it to 32 teams, but it'll be played out every 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for those years that you're not playing Club World Cup, you're like, ooh, hey.
Yeah.
But then when you got to play that, it's like, oh, wow.
But don't worry.
We got another competition now.
They'll make another competition for those who are not in the Club World Cup.
No, that's ridiculous.
But look, Conference League.
True.
When there was no Europa, when there's just Champions League, they made Europa League. When Europa League, they wanted more Conference League.
Yeah.
Next thing is going to be the Subdivision League. You never know.
I'm cool with the Europa Leagues, the Conference Leagues. All right, cool. But, the Nation Leagues, come on. Do we need that?
Yeah.
Because, as someone that's watching the game, when you go turn on your TV and you're watching the England squad, you're looking to watch Jude Bellingham, the Cole Palmers, right? They're not going to be playing. We're going to be seeing Gibbs Whites playing in the national team. I like Gibbs White a lot, but at that level, he's not supposed to be in the national team. You know what I'm saying? Right. So,
and another thing that's could be causing these strikes, injuries, whatever, is look at these rule changes. Remember, like a yellow card 10 years ago is not the same type of yellow card today. You know what I'm saying? So if we continue giving these players yellow cards for no reason, that's going to lead to more suspensions. More suspensions, less squad depth. More exhaustion, more injuries. And you're in the back to square one. Longer games. Now you're getting punished for even wasting time. I remember back in the day, you could waste time, ain't nothing happening to you. You do as much as get in front of a ball as someone's about to kick the ball or kick it away like Declan Rice did. That's a yellow card. Or for him, a red card and a suspension.
But I can see why the players are doing it, dude. Wasting time.
They're tired.
They are tired.
You're growing up. Remember when we used to play? Waste a little bit of time here, get a little break here, whatever you need to do, commit a small foul, whatever it is, to let your team recoup.
Yeah.
Now you're getting a yellow and red card for those type of things. Another thing, stoppage time. They're really big on that. If you're look at the World Cup that just passed. If you wasted 13 minutes in one half, we put in 13 minutes for you to play, bro. And then another 14 minutes on the other half.
Usually extra time. Back in the day, extra time was never accurate. It was just like
you just add 3 minutes, bro. 4
minutes, yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Now 9, 11, 13. But when I saw 13 and 14 in the World Cup, I was like, nah, what's going on?
That's a whole new game.
It's a whole new game, man.
And then you're doing it both halves.
Both halves. How you expect someone to play extra time?
Yeah, like I said, I just think, with all these games, we're not going to be able to see the best players perform.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, Phil Foden, for example, how is he not playing the first few games in an important league in the world? Guy's tired.
And then he was out for illness, but you know what that comes from? Fatigue, being tired, like you're saying. Because, not for nothing, they're not just going around and running on the pitch. The way the modern game is played now, it's pressing, it's running, it's, exhaust yourself until you
these
can't
players
go.
these players are playing different positions when they're with the ball, playing different positions when they're without the ball, and there's so many other guys. Like I think Mainu is out too right now.
Yep.
But I don't know if that was an actual injury or he just doesn't want to.
No, he was actually injured because he didn't play. He played against Villa, but the game before that, I don't think he played.
What about Garnacho? Garnacho's out too.
Garnacho, he just played that. Could be a fake one. Havertz, I'm pretty sure it's a fake one. Saka, I don't know. Vinicius has like a neck or spinal issue. Rodrigo has a back
Mbappe
issue.
was hurt too, right?
Mbappe, I don't know how real that one is. A lot of people in France are criticizing. But at the same time, I understand. Wave your flag and represent your country. Then again, not at the expense of your entire career.
In your health.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people have sacrificed their whole childhood into their adolescence to have a shot at living the dream that we all dreamed about. And we're going to go over here and play a meaningless game to say we did, to have a season-ending injury and maybe never come back to the form that we were before the injury. We got to pick and choose our battles,
Yeah, they definitely do, but you're going against people that are making billions of dollars and the guys that are making millions. And it's crazy that these guys that are adding these competitions are probably guys that never touched the football in their life. And they're forcing these guys to play like crazy minutes.
Yeah, bro, because the last thing we need is another Marco Reus. Top talent, riddled with injuries. Another Godse, another Michael Owen, Jack Wilshere,
Alexander Pato,
Ronaldo Nazario, like players that would have, like we can't even think of how good they could have been because of these injuries.
Man, if they were playing now, they would definitely be done lot earlier.
They'll be donezo, as you say.
Yeah.
But all we can do is hope that things start to change. People start waking up to the problems because
players start speaking up more, being more vocal. And because Rodri can't be the only one doing it,
And he's not, to be fair, but it needs to be an uproar. It needs to be, hey, we've had enough. Because people do it for their jobs. People go on their strike for their jobs, and then they get increased pay or whatever the case is. Guess what? Footballers have a job, and it's much harder than what we do, even though they're getting paid a bunch. So let's make sure we get.
And low key, there's like limitations with every other job, like. Just for instance, the jobs that we work, you can only work a certain amount of hours.
Can't do a triple. Can't do 3 shifts. These guys is working. Maybe the people that think they should just play because they're getting paid so much money, maybe they should go try what they're doing for about 6 days straight. Because it's not they play once a game. They train harder than they play. To play hard, you got to train hard. So you're doing that every single day.
And low key, if they were to break down those games, they would be in training sessions, right? But sometimes the training sessions are not always upbeat. They're they're calm, relaxed. Yeah.
Because the coach understands too. The coach has played. Yeah. They understand the strain and the strenuous nature of the modern game, thanks to Pep Guardiola. These systems of running and pressing and Klopp and gang and press and this, that. It's a different game, so we need to adapt and adapt to.
We gotta adjust for them because it's not looking pretty.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe, and check us out next week.
Until next time.